Good morning, everyone, or afternoon or evening, depending where you are in the world. I'm here today to talk about the shocking truth about being an expert and 3 keys to staying out of the expert trap, because there's actually a trap for being an expert. And why I really wanted to talk about this today is because you probably, as an online business owner, as someone who's already making $10,000 months, $20,000, $40,000 months, you are an expert, unquestionably, at what you do. You are top-notch. You get your clients amazing results. You have a name in your industry. However, you can actually trip yourself up by holding the identity of expert in your mind. And yes, we're going to be talking a little bit about paradoxes today. But why this is so important to address right now is if you think of yourself as an expert and that is your only identity, then you're not tapping into your beginner's mind. So why we want a beginner's mind is it actually allows us to open our capacity to learn and to take in value. When we put ourselves in the box of being an expert, we don't see everyone that we meet as a teacher and as guidance when it truly is, when you open up to that. And what will really allow you to be a thought leader or more of a thought leader than you already are is letting go of being an expert and tapping into your beginner's mind, or at least holding on to the paradox of I am an incredible expert at what I do, and also I'm a total beginner at what I do, and holding those together because they're both true. And so if you're feeling stuck right now, if your growth is stagnating in your business, if your business just in general feels rigid and confining, then you might be in this position of leaning too much on the expert side of things. And that's a really uncomfortable place to be in. Like, who wants to be stuck, stagnating, and rigid? I mean, you might want rigid things for some reasons, but like in your business, you don't want to feel rigid and in this crazy box. So what I'm talking about today is what will break you out of that, okay? And instead of being that rigid, stagnation, stuck, we're moving into excitement and juiciness. By tapping into these 3 keys of getting out of or staying out of the expert track is allowing us to be excited and juicy in our business, which is so huge. So let's just dive into this. First of all, having a beginner's mind and tapping into a beginner's mind will actually allow you to get value out of everything. Okay? And also, you're just going to not have a boring life. You're not going to have a boring life. I mean, if you're 100%, 100 hours a week in your business, even 40 hours a week in your business, you could have a boring life. If you're exhausting yourself, if you're pushing yourself too hard, if you're not exploring hobbies or excitement outside of your work or even within your work, then the boring life is there. And by pulling in this beginner's mind, it helps with your copywriting and it helps with your thought leadership, as I mentioned. So what you want to do, first of all, and what I do with my clients, is we create systems. I know, we just talked about rigidity. But this is where systems and structure allows for freedom, because when we create systems in our business, so automations, processes for how your team does stuff for you, it frees up your time and your energy and your mind to explore other things. And what you'll see again and again in geniuses in their craft, like when you think of Einstein or all of the Renaissance scientists and artists, is they get inspiration outside of their industry. So important. Instead of being in the competitive trap, I need to know what everyone else is doing, they step back and they get inspiration from outside of their industry, and that actually allows for the neurons in their brains to make the connections that your people need to actually get deeper and deeper results, okay? So we want to be creating systems that free up our time and free up our energy. Okay, that's our first thing that you really need to do to get out of this expert trap, because you need that time and you need that energy back to actually devote to other things. The second piece of this is, okay, now you have time off. Now you have expansiveness and spaciousness and luxurious amounts of time in your business. What do you do with that? You freak out. So I'm not kidding with this. A lot of people are really uncomfortable with rest. You get time off, you get a vacation, and it's really hard for you to turn off. Not just because you're worrying of, oh my gosh, will my systems fail? Oh my gosh, can my business run without me? Oh my gosh, are there fires that I need to address in my business going on while I'm taking this time off? It's also just the discomfort of not being in pushing mode, not being in that adrenaline-induced state of working and workaholism. Okay? Really, really important. So what you need to do here is get really comfortable with rest, get really comfortable with the potential of being bored and seeing what is actually birthed out of being bored. There's actually some great studies around the importance of boredom in genius and breakthrough, okay? So actually resting into and like settling into that discomfort. And so when you can do that, when you can create systems that allow for more time, and you actually allow yourself to take that time and settle into the discomfort and break through the discomfort of rest, this is when you tap into your deep well of inspiration. So I've seen this with all of my clients, but one client I want to bring an example of right here is when she brought me on her team and we were able to actually systematize her business so that she could take time off, she could take a maternity leave for her business. She was able to access the next level in her intellectual property. This is an incredibly brilliant woman with a large following already, with books written already. But by actually allowing more time with her brain, with inspiration, with rest, she was actually able to get to the next stage in her growth. So pay attention here. Pay so much attention here. If you feel that stagnancy and stuckness, that stickiness in your business of things not coming through, on the verge of, but things are not coming through, answer is most likely rest, okay? And then our third thing is dropping the attachment of being an expert. And I touched on that a little bit so far, but if you find yourself going on Instagram or with your coaches, with your teachers, with people that you learn from, even with just people you meet on your day-to-day basis, if your first, second, 1 second reaction is, I already know this. I already know this shit. Like, I don't need to hear it again. I already know this. So I'm going to discount. And when you do that, you actually create a barrier between you and the genius of that person. Okay? Instead of doing that, you can actually call in the genius of that person. So if you're struggling with your students right now, if you're struggling with your coaches right now, please, please, please listen here. I just had a woman who joined this current round of my mastermind, the Alchemical Business Intensive, and we're 1 month in. And in the first 3 days of the program, she, and I address this as one of the first things we talk about, of like letting go of this expert mindset, or also holding on to a beginner's mindset at the same time. Because even if you've heard something before, have you actually applied it? So when I got into conversation with her and I coached her on this, she was actually realized that this was the thing that was preventing her from growing in her business. This brilliant woman, decades of marketing and branding experience, but she hadn't applied it in her business. And a part of the reason why was because she was holding on to this thought process of, I already know this. I already know how to do this. So I don't want to hear this person talk about it. I don't want to like gain their wisdom because I already know how to do this. Instead of being in this state of realizing I am an incredibly powerful being, I can actually call out the genius of other people. I can actually call out the best in other people. When you're actually holding that energy and that space within the containers that you participate in, or in a coaching relationship, or just in your relationship with social media, you're able to grow so much faster. break through so much faster. So key. So instead of being in this closed off, contained space, if I already know this, you're opening up and you get the breakthrough significantly faster. And I've seen this again and again with clients. So some action out of this thing, and I should just say, can you see the importance of this? Maybe let me know below. Can you see the importance of this? Yeah. Okay, so action you can take with this is really simple, fun one is take up something new, like take up a new hobby, or return to a hobby from, or a fun thing you used to do as a kid. Okay? Take up something new. And this is actually a copywriting hack, believe it or not. When you're able to let your mind rest and do things other than what you're focused on, you can actually solve problems quicker. And for copywriting specifically, you're able to draw on this larger well of experience, somatic experience, just like not just knowledge. Because what a lot of writers will lean on is what they've read about. As brilliant people, as intelligent people, we rely on what we've read about instead of what we've experienced. So as you actually expand your experience within this world and not just lead a boring life, an indoor life, increasing the biodiversity of experiences that we have more inspiration to draw from our somatic experience. We can actually use the experiential languaging that the best writers are able to tap into. The smell, the colors, the feelings, the knowings. And you just can't do that if you don't have this larger life. Okay, and the next action, another small action you can take is look for inspiration outside of your industry. Look for inspiration outside of your industry. If you are a human design reader, don't look at the other human design people. Like, of course you want to be deepening your knowledge of your craft, but actually looking at other industries, other complete sources of inspiration, looking at art, looking at cars, looking at like what's happening locally, whatever it is that turns you on and lights you up, that can actually inform and bring out the next layer of intellectual property and thought leadership that you have, okay? So I want, for any of you who's like, yes, I want this is me, I am exhausted right now, if you run an online business and you are so grateful to be past that sufficiency point, you're already making more than enough to pay yourself and to pay for support for that VA you need, or team members, or the software that you need in your business, but you're fucking exhausted because you're working 40 plus hours a week, or even if you're working less than that and you're still just exhausted and stagnated in your business, like, I want you to come and book an effortless expansion call with me to talk about my one-on-one coaching container. So this is where we actually look at your business, and from the eyes of, like, I've supported multiple 7-figure business owners in scaling their business. I've supported 6-figure and multiple 6-figure business owners in systematizing, building foundations for success in their business, so that they can build out the scalable offers that don't require them to show up, or the automations needed to not have to hire a massive team to deliver, and instead having a super lean, supportive team, actually attracting in and calling in team members that love you and support you and love your mission. So important. So if you're feeling in that exhausted state of overwork, or that stuck state of not having your clean channel of inspiration, and you're stuck in the main mundane day-to-day, and your to-do list is just so fucking long, and by the end of the day you don't even remember what you did even though you were working a full day, then please book this effortless expansion session with me. I have 2 more spots available for my one-on-one coaching container. This is where we actually go on the path of building your foundation of success in your business, okay? This is where we will look at what I call your externalized energies, and we identify your business as a separate entity than you, such an important realization. And how do we actually boost up the power of your business as this container of power? So we're looking into how do you build up intellectual property within your business? How do you build up the financial systems in your business? Because your business's money is not your own. That's your business's money, and you pay yourself a salary out of it. How do you make sure that your team is the right team for you right now? Or go through the hiring process if you need support? How do you actually build the human systems so that your business is running smoothly and everyone is just not doing all of the shiny, like I need to post everywhere and be everywhere for everyone. Instead, we step back and look at what's actually important for moving the needle in your business instead of just doing what everyone else wants to do. Okay, so I know that you're incredible at what you do. I know that you're probably not as well known as you should be. Okay, so this is where this stuff is so important. I run a marketing agency. I know the importance of marketing, but what's more important than that is you as this creatrix actually having the time and space to birth your most important work and to feel supported and to call on support. Because it's so often that when we get to the point of success in our business, we've built it out of hustle or cortisol spikes and long hours. So when we actually are in this space of, I can be supported. I want to be supported in my business. I want to hire people to support me. We have them on our team and we aren't able to actually let go. And you see micromanaging or forgetting to delegate to people or just not delegating well or being patient enough in your delegation that you don't have them do what you want them to do and you give up. Instead, we want to have a team of people supporting us, supporting our mission, supporting the growth of our business. People to do the things that are outside of your zone of genius. So instead, you can be teaching your programs, writing what you're writing, speaking, whatever, doing your healing work. Whatever that is in your zone of genius. Instead of answering emails and DMs and thinking about the next Instagram post has to go out and making sure that the email is timed correctly and the whatever it is. Instead, we simplify. We shut out and get rid of everything that doesn't matter for your business. Because there's so many things we do just because we think we need to, because other people are doing it. And that's not important. We need to get out of that comparison cycle of I need to be doing this to get that. I need to be posting Instagram stories every single day to get new clients, or I need to run a webinar in order to have a successful launch. It's just not true. Believe me, I've been on the back end and I've been run 7-figure launches for 7-figure programs. You don't need any of that stuff. You need to be supported by the systems within your business, supported by the structure of your business, so that you can be in this fluid state of creation for your best work to come out. So I invite you to book that session. You can just go to the link in my bio, and you'll see a little button at the link tree for an effortless expansion session. You'll just get right to booking on my calendar for that, and we'll discuss what it actually looks like of your next level of scaling in your business and what's holding you back from that. And if it makes sense, we'll actually talk about if the working one-on-one together will make sense for you. And again, I really just want to emphasize with this, because we talked about the trap of being an expert and the importance of the beginner's mind, and actually allowing space for you to be in that beginner's mind state. And all of this stuff is so important for your growth in your business, okay? So thank you guys for being here with me. It was fun to have a few people on live. And if you have any questions, go ahead and comment below or DM me. And I will see you on the Instagram shortly.